Bloodlines 2 released not too long ago, and I've played it for a couple of hours on stream and off the stream before my PC broke down. It's still in repair shop and I'm sitting on my ass without anything to do, which I hate. Especially when games like Bloodlines 2 and Outer Worlds 2 are out and I'm missing some content because of it. So decided to write about this particular topic to do something and to try to get to the bottom of why Bloodlines 2 has been met with negative to mixed criticism. Apologies for the trailer and official footage during this video, but all of the regular recorded clips are on the PC that I can't access at the moment. So this is not a review or anything like that, just a discussion about the game and more like first impression than anything else. Can't review anything based off of such brief game time, but I did notice lots of things already that are problematic and that quite clearly show why the reception was anything but good, you blood-sucking bastards. First and foremost, the biggest problem is the name. Vampire The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 is automatically associated with Bloodlines 1, which is a logical thing to do since it carries the same name. So expectations are difficult to avoid. Bloodlines 1 is a very well-known RPG that is one of the best representations of World of Darkness based games. What it has similar to Bloodlines 2 aside from the title is the fact both games suffered heavily through its development cycles. Bloodlines 1 was rushed and late game didn't play out that well due to gridlocking players into some must-have abilities and choices. Bloodlines 2 changed developer teams between being announced, cancelled, announced again and finally released, so it was a shit show. At least they got it done. Another thing both games have in common is subpar gameplay. Bloodlines 1 combat is quite bad even when compared to its peers at the time. And Bloodlines 2 gameplay is quite shallow in some aspects, except for the building traversal parkour thingy, which is good, and some really good combat abilities, but none of the two games do a good job. Bloodlines 2 stealth is incredibly basic, and a missed opportunity, worse than the first game. Not to even mention linear paths to complete story missions without different points of access and different ways to approach a mission from what I've seen so far. Maybe it changes later on. The main difference though are the RPG elements in both games, which makes Bloodlines 1 a superior game because it is primarily a role-playing game, a good one at that, and it shows everywhere. Story decisions, quests, different ways to approach a situation, character creation and progression, deeper lore, better world. So the first one has great elements thanks to the focus on RPG aspect. Unlike the second one, from what I've seen so far, with only story decisions being in out of all the things mentioned, and interesting abilities that do kinda overlap a bit from clan to clan, making them less unique. There are interesting characters in the sequel, like Fabian and Lou Grant from the early ones. Lore that from my brief experience wasn't all that, but have to play more to be able to judge it, and weak side content. Dialogue is not bad though. Some interesting conversations with decision making that I still don't know what it leads to, but interested to discover. Voiceover is quite good too. Also, we can unlock all the other clan abilities in one playthrough, which defeats the purpose of role-playing a clan. I get that we are Nomad, a specific elder vampire, but that seems more like a convenient choice in order to make the game more dynamic, because it would be tedious otherwise playing with same 5 abilities. Basically they killed the role-playing character progression aspect in order for more dynamic gameplay by allowing all the clan abilities. With it, they also diminished replayability. So the best elements of the first game were downgraded and changed in order to improve the action-adventure that the sequel is. Unfortunately, the action-adventure aspect from my brief experience is not good enough to keep the game interesting to a high level. Not saying Bloodlines 2 is a bad game, because it's too early for me to tell, and so far it isn't, but if the beginning already shows too many cracks, then it's hard to expect it improving for the better drastically. It might, still have to play much more of it when the PC comes back to judge it more fairly. Mainly my point is that Bloodlines 1, despite the bad combat, has so many other elements at a high level to offset the gameplay. Bloodlines 2 has due to abilities and good traversal better gameplay, but not nearly on such a high level like Bloodlines 1 RPG elements when comparing degree of quality, while also the sequel being entirely stripped from RPG elements. So the game doesn't offer as much while still retaining high price. One of better showcases how basic Bloodlines 2 is the masquerade aspect. Way too easy to stay hidden doing bad things even when jumping off of rooftops in front of the civilians that should be alarmed by, someone doing superhero landings in front of them. And then if we break the masquerade, someone spawns to kill us instantly. A very shallow system that is the core of both games that should make the gameplay more immersive and atmospheric. World also seems quite dead and robotic. In my opinion, this game shouldn't have been named Bloodlines 2 or even Vampire The Masquerade. If it was named anything else, expectations wouldn't be there and the game would be more fairly judged in its own right. But they wanted to profit off of a famous name and shot themselves in the foot by doing so. Paradox even tried locking clans behind a paywall, which is a dirty and greedy move, but thanks to the pressure from you bastards, they backed off. Also, Fire as a vampire name? What? Fire or Pyre associations for a vampire? It's like taking a piss intentionally. Then the gay feminized Nosferatu. I thought Nosferatu were more feral than their counterparts, but to be frank, my knowledge of these clans has been lost in time, so I might be dead wrong. Anyway, Bloodlines 2 review is eventually going to be up on Patreon and Subscribestar. Delayed of course due to PC issues. Links are in the description. Thanks for watching and go suck some blood.